WNBA star and U.S. Olympic gold medalist Brittney Griner has been sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison. Griner was detained at a Moscow airport back in February for possession of medical marijuana vape cartridges. She pleaded guilty to drug charges last month, but now questions remain over how the Biden administration is going to get Griner and another detained American back on U.S. soil. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes reports.
I had no intent to break any Russian laws.
From a cage in the courtroom, WNBA star Brittney Griner expressed remorse. But that did not stop a Russian judge from sentencing her to 9 years in a penal colony.
I want to apologize to my teammates, my club, Gemka, the fans, and the city of ECAT for my mistake that I made and the embarrassment that I brought onto them.
The sentence prompted outrage from her Phoenix Mercury teammates and her league. President Biden called it unacceptable.
Russia is wrongfully detaining Brittney.
The 6'9" center was on her way to play in Russia when she was arrested in February. Russian authorities accused her of drug smuggling after finding less than a gram of cannabis oil in her luggage.
I love my family.
In a bid to bring Griner and another American, Paul Whelan, home, U.S. officials have proposed a prisoner swap, possibly involving Russian arms dealer Victor Bout.
But it's a serious proposal. We urge them to accept it. They should have accepted it weeks ago when we first made it.
But the Russians said they wouldn't negotiate until Griner was sentenced.
The Russian court systems and Putin have to be able to justify to the Russian people they convicted a U.S. athlete.
Bill Evanina is the former head of counterintelligence for the U.S. government.
This can go on for a long time, especially if Lavrov and Putin want something specific that we're unwilling to give.
And Nancy Cordes joins us now for more. And Nancy, I want to begin with a question I think a lot of people have. How much of Brittney Griner's conviction and sentence actually had to do with cannabis possession versus the fact that she's a high-profile American, an LGBTQ woman of color, that just so happened to be in Russia at the same time it was at odds with the West?
It's a great question, Jonathan. You know, U.S. officials say that they're not sure exactly how to parse it. They do know that Russia tends to hand down these very severe sentences, and they do believe that Brittney Griner is being used as a pawn in all of this, and they're waiting to see what Russia wants to try to extract in exchange for the Americans being able to bring her home. One thing was clear from the White House podium today, because we heard it over and over again. White House officials say that not only should Brittney Griner never have been tried, she certainly never should have been convicted and sentenced to nearly a decade behind bars. So they say that this trial was a sham, and they're hopeful that now that the sentencing phase is over with, perhaps the Russians will be more willing to negotiate in earnest some kind of prisoner exchange to get her home.
Is there an appeals process in Russia once you pleaded guilty? Forgive me for not knowing. And where does this case go from here?
No apologies necessary. Not most of us don't know the ins and outs of the Russian trial system. But what I can tell you is that there is an appeals process, and she has 10 days now to make an appeal. But no one here expects that a Russian judge or a Russian appeals court is suddenly going to overturn this conviction or this sentence. They believe, again, that she's being used, that this was the outcome that the Russians wanted, because they want to be able to use her as a bargaining chip in negotiations with the United States. You know, it's really unusual for U.S. officials to even talk about a proposed prisoner swap in public the way that they have, basically putting it on the table, that they've put an offer out there. And the reason that they're doing it this time, they say, is because they made an offer to the Russians and then they waited for weeks and never got a serious response.
Interesting. I'm hoping you could kind of elaborate even too. Last week, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken confirmed the U.S. offered a possible prisoner swap. The proposal reportedly involves a Russian arms dealer, Victor Bout, in exchange for Brittney Griner and Whelan. Where does that currently stand? Can we see this being an effective tool?
You know, where it stands right now is that the Russians essentially said, we're not talking until after this trial is over. And so now it's over. So now we watch to see what happens. Obviously, a lot of this is going to take place behind closed doors and over secure phone lines, and we're not going to have necessarily a lot of visibility into what exactly is being discussed and what kinds of trades are being proposed. There's a Russian prisoner in Germany that the Russians would very much like to see released. Unclear if that individual would sort of be put into the mix. There's a lot of different possibilities. And something interesting that Bill Evanina told me today, you heard from him in our piece just now, he said a lot of times the Russians and Vladimir Putin won't really say what it is exactly that they're seeking in return until the last possible moment. And so these talks will drag on and on and on, and you won't really know what it is that the Russians want in exchange. You could even see them wanting some kind of easing of U.S. sanctions related to their invasion of Ukraine, not necessarily something that the Americans would likely go for, but Russia is in a very difficult position right now. All kinds of punishments have been placed on that nation that leaders there would like to see reversed. So it's possible that this could drag on for a while, Jonathan.
Really appreciate the reporting. Nancy Cordes, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.